Hey everyone, welcome back to another lecture. So today we're going to go into some sensitive topics that may not seem relevant, but they are very relevant to your success and your health in life. So I'm going to go over the concepts, I'm going to go over them fairly quickly, and I'm going to put in notes so that you can do your own follow-up research if you want to go more into depth on this. So you have to understand that our society is built on a system where people are kept disempowered. They're kept disempowered through early indoctrination through school and society, and then through constant education of misinformation, which results in trauma and beliefs that don't serve us. That's the first way where people are kept disempowered. The second way that people are kept disempowered is through their diets. Now, this is very, very important. And if you have a pencil and paper or pen or whatever, I suggest you take notes on this and don't skip over this. Okay, this isn't what you think it is. Don't just think, oh, eat healthy, this is how it goes. No, this is very, very important. Okay. First of all, caffeine. Coffee or caffeine. It's very detrimental to your health if you're taking it in large quantities or if you're taking it on an empty stomach. What caffeine does is it cuts the blood supply to the brain by 50%. So that means you're losing 50% of your intelligence when you drink coffee for 24 hours. In addition, what coffee does is it causes the body to be acidic, and it puts your brain into a fight or flight mode. It activates a fight or flight response and makes you super susceptible to any negative hypnosis. So what happens is if you have, like, say you have some coffee, what happens is your brain will go into fight or flight, your intelligence will drop by 50%, you become very emotional, and yada, yada, yada. Now, there are ways around this. And because I know that some of you drink coffee, and I know that I don't expect you just to quit right away. I mean, it would be great if you did, but the ways you can mitigate this is if you have it first thing in the morning, it's really, really important you have a full stomach, a full breakfast before you put it in your stomach, because this will mitigate a lot of the problems. And in addition, I suggest you also increase your vitamin C intake as well. And make sure you're taking calcium and good multivitamin. The vitamin C will neutralize the effects of the toxins, and then the calcium and the multivitamin will help keep your body alkalized. All toxins work by stealing electrons, and vitamin C just replaces those electrons in your body. Now, this is to hold you over until you can use the higher self, or you can quit off of it altogether. However, I want you to understand that the best way to keep people disempowered is to keep them stupid and in a fight or flight response. And the average American, I don't know about people in the UK, but the average American drinks coffee on an empty stomach, like a huge shitload of it, and then they wonder why they're a mess. So what happens is the brain goes into fight or flight. You're literally, the blood in your brain decreases by 50%, dropping your IQ. You become emotional, acidic and weird and sick, and then you lose energy during the day. So I recommend is replacing it with just some good B vitamins, B6, B12 vitamins, a good multivitamin, plenty of water, exercise, and get off of it. Ask the higher self to help you if possible. If you can't get off of it right away, you absolutely need to do it. Then make sure you're only having one small cup on a very, very full breakfast. Make sure you have vitamin C in your diet and you exercise, and you're aware of what's going on, so that if you do feel it, you can mitigate it through breathing and things like that. This is very, very important. Number 2 is alcohol. Alcohol in general is abused by many, many people. You have to understand that if you do drink it, I don't recommend more than once or twice a week, and I don't recommend getting shit-faced. However, you do have to understand that in excess, it's going to weaken the body. It's going to cause fight or flight responses. It's going to make you less. It's going to make you more apathetic. Now, in reference to the coffee, I forgot one more thing. Many of you who want to lose weight The best way, if you want to lose 15 or 20 pounds very quickly around your stomach, then stop drinking coffee. And the average person, when they stop drinking coffee, they lose 15 pounds within a month around their stomach, because coffee, when it activates a fight or flight response, it causes the body to hold on to fat. So moving on to alcohol, you want to get rid of that in your diet. Third one is going to be sugar. Sugar, especially white cane sugar, is extraordinarily detrimental to your health. When you take sugar, when you ingest it, it lowers your immune system by 50% for 6 or 8 hours. And that also causes your body to hold on to fat around the stomach area, and is responsible for heart disease and a bunch of other crap. So if you really, really want to optimize your success in life, you want to eliminate the white sugar out of your diet. If you absolutely must have sugar, then replace it with something like fruit, replace it with maple syrup, honey. As long as it's not the cane sugar, it's the white refined cane sugar, which is basically in everything that really causes the issues. And you're going to find that your health is going to improve dramatically. This is very important. Another thing you want to keep in your mind, you want to make sure that you're getting salt in your diet. By salt, I mean sea salt. Don't use any type of table salt. You want to use the sea salt. Table salt is what causes people the health problems, such as the swelling, the heart disease, the issues like that. What you want to use is sea salt. Sea salt is something your body needs. And we've been told throughout time that salt is something that you should stay away from. But salt is actually something you need for your body, especially for stress, for regulatory function. So you do need to have salt in your diet. It's just a type of salt. Table salt, regular table salt, that shit's really bad for you. I'm sorry for cursing. It's just that these people really piss me off, how they give us misinformation about our diets that really screw us up. So it's challenging to remain calm when I'm talking about it. Once you start really doing the research and you really go into the full extent of how bad the stuff is and how backwards the information is that we're given us. So anyways, if you do use salt, I encourage the use of salt, but make sure it's sea salt. The chemical makeup of table salt, I forgot the name of it. Sodium chloride, yes. The chemical name of table salt is called sodium chloride, and sodium chloride is the chemical makeup of that is what causes the scratching of the arteries. It causes arterial plaque in your body. It causes a whole bunch of crap, swelling, kidney issues, especially if you're black or you're a person of color. If you're white or Caucasian, then you can get away with it longer, but I still don't recommend it. I recommend just keeping salt in your diet, but use sea salt instead. These little changes, they may not seem like much, but they're really important because, as you know, it affects the body and the health. This is very important. Another thing is you want to make sure you have enough iodine in your diet. 99% of people are deficient in iodine. I recommend something called the nascent iodine. Just by taking iodine into your diet daily, nascent iodine, make sure it's nascent iodine. Don't use topical iodine or you're going to poison yourself. You're going to end up in the hospital. You want to use something called a nascent, NaScent iodine. Just by merely introducing nascent iodine into your diet, within 1 month, you'll experience an IQ increase of about 10 to 15 points. And it's really disturbing how it is, but it's true. You're also going to find that nascent iodine is essential for preventing any type of prostate issues. It's essential for women, for their ovaries, for their breast tissue, for your body, your well-being, your endocrine system. Iodine is essential. It was purposely removed from foods and replaced with bromide and chloride, which is a iodine. It copies the behavior of iodine so that it sticks to your pineal gland and other parts of your body, your thyroid as well. Bromide will go into your thyroid if you don't have enough nascent iodine, so you want to make sure you have the nascent iodine. When you first start taking it, you may experience detoxing symptoms. That's okay. So it's very, very important that you make sure you get enough iodine in your diet. Make sure you're doing a good multivitamin. Don't do anything chemical. I recommend a food-based multivitamin, such as from Synergy or New Chapter or Garden of Life. I recommend organic. If organic is too expensive, then do non-GMO. And then if you simply must do synthetic, then make sure you look up a good brand. Don't do anything from CVS or any of that nonsense, because it's just toxic shit that your body can't absorb. Most people are nutrient deficient, so you want to get multivitamin. Moving on, now we're going to get some really serious stuff here that's really going to disturb a lot of you, but I need you to hold on and just stay with me here. You want to talk about vitamin D. Vitamin D is one of the most important things that you can put in your diet, and many of you do not have enough of it. Vitamin D is actually a hormone. It's not an actual vitamin. It's a hormone that's produced when your body is in the sun. This is very, very important to listen to, especially if you're a person of color. And even if you're not a person of color, it's still vital, but even more so if you're a person of color. See, when you have enough vitamin D in your diet, vitamin D is a hormone that literally tells your body to repair itself. It tells your body to rebuild muscle, heal injuries, heal diseases, knock out infections, things like that. The reason that people get sick in the quote-unquote flu season is not because there's a flu season. It's because what happens is they minimize sun exposure. So whatever vitamin D that they had that was keeping them on life support, they no longer have. So then when the body no longer has high amounts of vitamin D, it assumes that it's in starvation mode. It assumes that you're in like a blizzard, like a hibernation mode. So it assumes that there's no resources outside, so that it immediately begins stopping all repairs on the body, and it will wait until the sun is out. That's how important this stuff is. This information is actually kept from the public because vitamin D in high enough doses can pretty much heal or cure anything. It's kind of like another version of quantum healing. I've used it on myself before I had quantum healing to heal a rotator cuffs or rips or tears in the body within a few weeks, things that normally take a year to heal. All the doses of vitamin D that you've been told about are inaccurate. You've been giving doses that are way too low. I'm going to summarize something for you very quickly, but of course I expect you to do your own due diligence and follow up on this information. Back, I believe, in the early 1930s, 40s, I believe that was from that time period. Basically, they did a process of using ultraviolet light on food. And the ultraviolet light, when you shine ultraviolet light at any organic material, what happens is that organic material produces vitamin D. Don't ask me how. I don't understand the science behind it. I just know this is what happens. So at the time, it was a huge craze. So people were doing it to bread. They were doing it to beer, milk, any type of food you could imagine. So the average person at that time was getting between about 100 to 200,000 IUs of vitamin D daily. And as a result, the health was so off the charts that hospitals were really, really suffering from, they had no sick people. You know what I mean? Because basically high enough doses of vitamin D cures everything from bone breaks to hepatitis to diabetes to vision issues. It's pretty amazing stuff, right? So these really wonderful, wonderful human beings and the powers that be understood that you can't control a population if they're really healthy. So they started immediately sending out misinformation about vitamin D. They created false tests based upon a different type of vitamin D, which is, I believe, is D2, I believe. Read the book to make sure, but it's a different type of vitamin D that they did test on, where in high doses it actually makes people sick, but they never actually did the test on vitamin D3. So then they sent all this information to the general public, so now all the general public is under this delusion that high amounts of vitamin D3 will kill you, when it actually, the average person, if you were to spend a bunch of time in the sun, sunbathing, you would get it between 50 to 100,000 IUs of vitamin D from your body just by being in the sun. So if you're getting 100,000 just by being in the sun, then why would more than 2,000 be lethal to you? So it's just stuff like that you got to really question, but I digress. So after the misinformation was put in, people, they really started going against it and scaring people. And they also changed the measurements of vitamin D so that the measurements they turned it into IUs. So for instance, instead of saying like a gram of something, they would say like this equals like a million IUs, right? So like that sounds scarier. It sounds like a lot more than just a gram, right? So now people are saying 50,000 IUs, 100,000 IUs, 200,000 IUs, and it really scares people because the number, and the number was purposely chosen that way to scare people into thinking that they're taking a dose that was too high. So in a nutshell, what happened is that our society became very scared of this stuff, which is actually very essential for health. Now, vitamin D is so essential for health that it can actually cure depression, and high enough doses will actually cure alcoholism because the brain is rebalancing itself. Black people, the reason they have diabetes, the reason they have high blood pressure, the reason they have people of color have these issues is because of vitamin D. Same for white people as well. So you got to really understand. I'm leaving the link in below, but you really need to read the book and start incorporating vitamin D into your diet because it's going to help you mentally. It's going to help your immune system. It's going to help your state of mind. And it's going to help you at all sorts of levels. But you're also going to have to balance it out with something called K2. Vitamin K2 is something that will tell your body to send any excess calcium from your bloodstream into your bones. Because remember I said vitamin D is a building molecule, so once you start taking it, you want to make sure the any extra calcium goes straight to your bones. So you want to make sure you have the K2, and you want to make sure you have enough magnesium in your body as well. So check out the book, and before you start experimenting with any high doses, start with I'd say 5 or 10,000 IUs a day, then take it from there. Of course, because of legal reasons and medical legal reasons, as you all fully know, I have to say that this is not medical advice at all. This is not medical advice. This is not a substitute for seeing a doctor. This is just my spiritual opinion on nutrition. That's all it is, and I have to say that legally. So I want you to definitely start incorporating the vitamin D. Or just at least do the research, and don't dismiss this because it's really important, and especially now in this time. And then also make sure you get the iodine and the multivitamins, and so make sure you take notes of all that. These are all very, very important things. If I don't sound super, super pumped up and excited, it's because I gave a lot of my books to a friend of mine, and I'm kind of kicking myself right now that I didn't have them with me right now as I'm doing the lecture. So I have to include the Amazon links if you want to get it on your Kindle. It's a very small investment, or if you want to just get the book itself. Yeah, the average book is like $5 or $10, so you can do the research on this. You're also going to make sure you're going to find another benefit of vitamin D is it acts as a quality, helps you build muscle very, very fast, and it helps you recover very, very quickly. Many men who are having trouble with gains in the gym is because they don't have enough vitamin D. Because think about it, vitamin D literally is telling your body that the sun is out, it's time to rebuild, it's time to grow, it's time to be strong. And when you don't have it, it's literally telling your body, resources are scarce. I need you to shut down all healing. I need you to shut down all repair and just go into hibernation mode. And that's definitely not something that you want going on in your body. And most people have that in their body, and they don't know what's going on. Okay, so we covered the vitamin D, the iodine, minimize the caffeine intake, minimize the alcohol, preferably eliminate it. But if you have to do it, no more than once a week. Don't get shit-faced. Sugar, white sugar, definitely you want to leave that at your diet. That's absolutely horrible. Make sure you're getting enough saturated fats like butter. Butter is important. I know. See, everything I'm telling you is like the opposite of what you've been told, but that's how it works, right? Make sure you want to look up good healthy fats such as butter. Stay away from any type of margarine or any type of plastic shit like that. I highly, highly encourage you to stay away from processed foods. And if possible, stay away from any type of genetically modified or pesticide food. Most people don't understand why organic food is very important. It's basically because you don't want the pesticides on the food. The pesticides are what cause you health issues and are purposely designed to attack your gut health. Now, I know not everyone is in a position financially or geographically to eat organic at a co-op. If you are in that position, then I encourage you to do that. Shop and don't. The way you can make it affordable is to not shop. Don't buy a bunch of prepackaged foods. Make sure you're doing like the bulk sections, things like that. If you happen to be in a food desert, because I know not everyone on my list is coming from a privileged place, you have to understand that there are ways to mitigate this. So what I recommend is something very important, is understanding first how toxins work and then mitigating that. So toxins work no matter what, if it's a pesticide or a genetically modified food. It works by stealing electrons from your body, and then all toxins work this way, whether it's rattlesnake poison, whether it's glyphosate, whether it's caffeine. It works all by stealing electrons from your body, right? So to mitigate that, you want to replace your electrons. So you want to increase your vitamin C intake. Make sure you're doing a lot of vitamin C in your diet, but also watch your probiotics. Make sure you don't throw your stomach off. And in addition, what you want to do is you want to have something called a zapper if you can afford it. You can get one for about 10 or... Let me write some notes down here so I can put this in the notes section so I don't forget it. You want to do something called a zapper. A zapper is something that uses an electrical charge to your body. As it flows electrons through your body, zappers alone can cure most diseases such as any bacterial infections, things like that. It's an alternative to antibiotics, and it's pretty much unlimited. So any basic zapper you get will do this for you. You want to wear it at least an hour a day, and this will flood electrons into your body, and it will cancel out the toxins. Of course, optimally, you don't want to actually ingest toxins, but I'm not saying this is an excuse for you to eat crap all day long. I'm just saying I recognize if you're in a situation where you have no choice, but this is the food you want to eat, then you want to, you can use a zapper as one option, vitamin C, and then also use the Super Immune System MP3, which I've included. Super Immune System MP3 tells your body to produce its own vitamin C. This is a trade secret, but that no one knows about. But this is why I'm sharing with you guys, because you guys are on the course. If you listen to the Super Immune System, it's going to basically give your body instructions that no toxin can exist in it, and that it easily eliminates toxins. And in addition, it will cancel that out. And then your fourth option is you want to use the higher self to make adjustments to your body so that any non-organic food you eat isn't going to hurt you. So those are the four options I'd like you to use if you're in a situation where you can't afford or you don't have access to organic food. You can use the zapper, add more vitamin C, but you should be including more vitamin C in your diet anyways, regardless. And then use the MP3, then the higher self, all right? And this will give you a momentary stopgap until you can get that organic food in you. And then even if you are using organic food, it's good to know about zappers. It's good to know about the vitamin C, and MP3 in general is for good health. All right. So this MP3 this lecture is going on a bit long, but it's very, very important for you guys. So I want you to make sure you're taking notes of this. Make sure if you have any questions, let me know. And also make sure, remember, the higher self is the number one thing that you can use to make adjustments to your body. I've used it myself when I had to use in the past when I had no access to any foods but GMO and GMO protein shakes. I used the higher self to make changes in my body to make it more resistant to that, so I didn't get sick. So that is an option you can use as well. Whatever you do, pick an option and use it. But like I said before, this is not an excuse to eat a bag of Cheetos every day and a shitload of sugar. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm just giving you ways around this until you can get where you want, because when your mind needs to be in right, and the easiest way to get your mind right is to get your body right. And if you're having any problems with any of this, then use a higher self to address your beliefs, and this can happen for you, okay? Next, we're going to go into... We're going to go into some really interesting topics, but I think it's necessary for you to understand if you're going to go through this world without fear. It's going to be very controversial, so we're going to go into it next lecture.